The good news is, I'm back. The bad news is, I'm back. And so is my head. Hi, Couleé. It's me, Bussy. And welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 7. Draguations. You graduated. Our winners were challenged to give Draguation speeches to their peers and the judges, and the Runway category was Veiled It. And the stakes were raised ever so slightly this episode, with the two winners taking home 2 legendary legend stars, one to keep and one to give away. Y'all wanted a twist, eh? Okay. Oh, and also I want y'all to hot or rat the stash. We like it? Do we hate it? Is it scaring you? Or are you intrigued? Anyways, we got a lot to cover today, but first, let's talk about staying cool this summer with today's video sponsor, Manscapes.com. Step 1 for me is grooming, and I trust Manscapes Performance Package 4.0 to do the job. It includes the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscapes electric and cordless body hair trimmer that you can use in the shower, making cleanup a breeze. It's got an LED light so you can see what you're doing, and multiple guard options so you can choose your desired hair length. Then I follow up with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant to keep my family jewels smelling and feeling fresh throughout the day. And I'm excited to announce Manscaped has just released a new collection of high-performance anti-chafing boxer briefs. There's 6 color combos, including the all black, gray or pinstripe, black and gold, and this cute gold nugget design, my personal favorite. You can buy them in singles or bundle in a 3-pack to save at manscaped.com/bussy. Oh, and the coup de grace of these bad boys, there's a new jewel pouch designed for extra breathability and cradling to keep you supported. And you can order your Performance Package 4.0 and grab the new Manscaped 2.0 boxer briefs by clicking the link in the description of my video to visit manscaped.com/bussy and get 20% off your order when you use my code, plus free international shipping. Your balls will thank you. Thanks Manscaped for sponsoring today's video. Now let's go ahead and get started in the order in which the queens gave their speeches. First up, Monét. Now she was our blocked queen this week, and she was responsible for placing the order of the Draguation speeches. She placed herself first, and this was really surprising to me at first. Opening this type of thing, especially it being a new challenge for Drag Race, is really difficult because they're essentially being challenged here to do stand-up comedy while injecting a sort of personal inspiring narrative. But in retrospect, I think Monét putting herself first in this challenge was more strategic than she let on, because A, she's blocked. There's no way she can win a star. She might as well take the fall in the, worst spot possible, and B, she can take the worst spot possible and potentially allow another queen who may win this challenge to get a placement that they favor and win, and maybe even give her a star to reward her as a little thank you. Miss Monét thinks she's clever, doesn't she? Now, concerning Monét's actual speech, she definitely gave a speech. It was kind of meandering, wandering around, and I think was missing an overarching theme or narrative. She told a lot of jokes, some of which were funny, but she was missing inspiration or a direction to really take this speech. And unfortunately, one of the funniest moments was when the comb fell out of her hair. Anywho, this speech was a But over on the runway, the caged bird does sing. She is looking absolutely gorgeous in this literal bird feather dress with a bird cage on top of her head. That baby blue with the pink on the chest I think is absolutely gorgeous, giving us a little canary fantasy. The stones on the caged veil also a great touch. The only thing that kind of confused me about this look was when she actually originally hid the runway, she's got this pink sheet over the cage like you would have for a bird that is sleeping. However, she rips it off so early and it didn't really match the rest of the look, in my opinion, that it kind of felt like maybe a missed opportunity to do a bigger reveal or to have a more exciting moment later on in the runway. So despite the awkward moment, I'm still gonna give this look a hot. Next up, do you want to be popular? Learn from Shea. Now, Shea's speech was, I think, both good and bad. It felt like she was stumbling through this narrative of her being popular and always being popular, but then she starts talking about how she wasn't always popular and how she became popular when she sat at the popular table. And that timeline for me was like, wait, what? Were you popular or not? But after she got through the story, there were a couple of jokes in there that I think were really strong. And to boot, she had an excellent cap and gown look. Like if we were just writing these speeches on cap and gown, she would be at the top. So with some editing, this queen's speech could have been hot, but as is, I'm going to leave it at a warming up. And over on the runway, she is bringing us a little haute couture. This is a piece from Robert One's 2021 collection, inspired by the swallowtail feathers. And the original piece is absolutely stunning. In fact, the entire collection is just gorgeous. In an interview with Perfect Magazine, Robert once said, "The collection is a tribute to my grandmother, whom I lost last year in October." And Shea too was evidently reminded of her grandmother by this look, as she said it was a love letter to her grandmother and the gardening that she used to do. And I struggled with this look a little bit because the giant blue silk shirt over all of the ruffles and accordion pleats of the original look kind of threw me off. It completely swallowed the swallowtail ruffles. And I also didn't love the other accessories that were paired with this look. Those giant gold cuffs, this studded shoe, they just felt very misplaced. So yes, Robert's piece is absolutely hot. But the way this look was styled by Shea on the runway was for me a Next up, Trinity the Train. Choo choo. So I thought it was kind of funny that both she and her twinner Monét started their speeches off with the cliché, "I was surprised I was asked to be here today." Conspiracy theory? Probably not. Trinity's speech, though, despite starting with that cliche, I thought was really, really fun. She immediately went into a hooked on phonics joke, which, by the way, if you're not from the US, this is essentially just like a reading program that started back in the 80s. I was a little surprised, though, to see her get so heavy and serious with the middle content of her speech, talking about her dying grandma and dropping out of school to take care of her. But at the same time, I did really appreciate her injecting those real-life elements into her story, allowing us to see a realer part of Trinity that I think she does often try to cover up with perfection and pageantry. This speech was hot. And over on the runway, Trinity continues to brand herself this season with the color red. And wow, 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 does she look good. She's giving me bride meets widow meets scarlet letter. I'm loving every second of this look. She looks expensive, beautiful, poised. Well, you know, poised except for when she's stumbling because the train of her dress is so heavy. And you can just see the construction and attention to detail in this look is phenomenal. And while I do want to absolutely give her kudos for not falling over because of the weight of the train that she acknowledges, it, you know, was pretty obvious that she was struggling to walk in this look. So while this look maybe was a little too ambitious for Trinity tonight, I still absolutely loved it. And her runways, can we just please give it up to her for what she has done this season so far? She is giving us drag eleganza every single time. I'm in love. This look is hot. Next up, the stars have aligned. More for Gemini. So Raja coming in right at the middle of this ceremony felt really perfect because her speech was so different from everyone else's. She gave us like the 5 points to success from the sage and soothsayer of the class. And I'm gonna say, I was really pleased with what she did, but I was so distracted with Rupaul just scream cackling the entire way through on my first watch that I had to rewatch it a few more times to really listen to Raja. But she really had some great inspirational lines in there like, "We're all gonna die, pay your taxes, and be nice to the poor." Because you never know when there's gonna be a camera to capture your good deeds. In this challenge, Raja continues to prove that she truly is the whole package and she is willing to take risks. This performance was hot. And over on the runway, see the latest of Raja. She is so brilliant. I love her mind so much. This runway is a campy play on the cover of Vogue magazine. But instead of Vogue, it says voile, which is the French word for veil. And one of the most important and beautiful details of this is the opacity of that back cover page that is following all of her gorgeous ruffles and veil behind her. I love the beading, the story of that fabric cascading down her body, and just the cleverness, the campiness. It is everything, and I love what she's done here. And most importantly, Raja hasn't forgot that this is RuPaul's Drag Race. She is bringing us drag. Drag takes pop culture, plays with it, remixes it, and turns it into something new and fresh. She has done that here, and this look is hot. Read all about it. Next up, Jaida Essence Hall. She is someone who I have just really found myself looking forward to every single episode. She has unlocked a comfortability, funniness, and relatability that was there in season 12, but is now amplified even more here. This, I think, could have been a challenge for her to win, but I do think she's maybe had a little bit of trouble translating her style of humor into some of these challenges, although it was a good first step, and she had some great moments. She had a very clear direction in her speech about becoming 30 years old, looking around and realizing that she wasn't where she wanted to be. But despite not having that same success level that she saw others at that age having, she was able still, in spite of those failures she had had, to find the success in her own way, telling us that it is never too late to join the party. Hold for applause. That was so funny. Jaida gave us a really solid speech tonight. This was hot. And over on the runway, Black Veil Brides, anyone? The Screamo Kid jumps out. So I liked this look at first glance a lot more than I think I did after it sat with me for a while. I think the silhouette was originally against that backdrop really fun and intriguing, and I wanted to know more. Like, I was kind of hoping for some sort of reveal or some of the pieces to come off so we could see the beautiful queen underneath all that fabric. But because she stayed completely covered up, she ended up kind of giving me like a piece of furniture in a haunted house with a permanent dust cover over it. Like, she's just shrouded in mystery. Who is she? Where is she from? What's her story? We may never know. And because she stayed covered up, maybe a few more textures or colors might have really helped this look, because I just felt like I was playing Who's That Pokemon? Rather than enjoying a beautiful garb. So I'm gonna give this look a soft rat. Next up, Yvie Oddly. Boo. So I will say, thematically speaking, Yvie had my favorite speech of the night because I, like RuPaul did, really relate to that story of overcoming failure to find success. I think the reason that she didn't secure a win tonight, though, maybe was that she didn't have the funniest jokes, but she did still land a couple, like calling RuPaul their Lord and Savior and talking about how all the checks the queens behind her cashed allowed them to get new grills. Overall, I think Yvie did a great job of blending her punk anarchist personality into this challenge about motivation, and deserves even more credit, I think, for being bold enough to turn RuPaul's "don't F it up" phrase on its head with her message. She gave me class president speech vibes. You know, the speech that you want to hear at the graduation ceremony. This was hot. And over on the runway, she is giving us a gorgeous beaded fantasy. It looks so heavy, like when she spins around, you can really see the weight of it. And I love the way it's moving around her. Kind of reminded me, I actually just read this article about Ginger Rogers' costume that she wore for one of her numbers with Fred Astaire that weighed over 25 pounds, and it would actually throw her off balance when she would twist and turn. Luckily for Yvie, though, she maintained her balance on the runway and looked stunning in it. The only thing I probably would have changed with this look would be that heel. I just don't feel like it matched this, but overall I enjoy the look and I think it's hot. Next up, our lovable weirdo is now the valedictorian and giving speeches. It's Jinkx Monsoon, and she approaches this challenge in the only way Jinkx would, as a witch giving a speech at, I guess, some sort of school of wizardry. So I will say, Jinkx had the best opener of any of the speeches, starting with congratulations to the class of whatever year it is that you're watching this on YouTube was brilliant and had me screaming. And overall, I've got to say, I think she had some of the funniest jokes of any of the queens, which was probably why she won tonight. But I've got to say, I didn't really relate to or understand the middle part of her speech about getting hit full speed by a car going backwards in the middle of Amsterdam. And then she goes on to connect that to the trauma of being born and being taken out of your safe space, and then finally ends with some more funny jokes. It just felt very valedictorian, trying to make a speech larger than life and too intellectual. So still a very hot speech, but missing a flame for those reasons. And over on the runway, Jinkx. She is having me fully gagged, bound, and chained this season with her runways. So elegant, poised, perfected, beautiful, perfect. I loved the detail of the butterflies literally holding up the back of her veil as she walked down the runway. And the color, fit, and silhouette of this gown is absolutely perfect. The train touches the floor in all of the perfect ways, and you really couldn't ask for more. If I could, though, make one small change, I might have made the veil just a little more see-through so that we could see her beautiful face, but could have just been the stage lights, not really sure. Plus, who doesn't love a look where no butterflies were harmed in the making? This look is hot. And finally closing us out of this Draguation is the Vivienne. This queen's speech was, I think, a sleeper hit, and I was maybe overlooked a little bit. So she did really, really good. Her approach to this challenge was to be completely sloshed. And sure, the first couple of sentences of setup that she did were maybe a little too wordy, exactly as the judges had critiqued her for in rehearsals. But once she got past those, it was joke after joke after joke. And she had me laughing continually once she got her groove on. Jinkx was at the top of her class, Trinity was at the top of her professor, and Raja won't get to use her degree because she'll be dead. I thought this was an absolute home run from Miss Viv. And had she been a little more succinct in the beginning, maybe the judges would have seen that too. But this performance was absolutely hot. And over on the runway, veils and belts excite me. I can't say any of the words related to the, I guess, subculture of this category of look because YouTube loves to demonetize me, but it is all of those things and more. There's a pained elegance in this look that she carries really, really well. Like the performance of this look from her is just stunning, visually speaking. She's giving me Lulu from Final Fantasy X with all the belts on her dress. And you would traditionally expect a look like this to be done in all black latex or leather or a mix of those materials. Yet she's done it in a soft blue with all of this gorgeous see-through fabric to construct a gown, and it is so beautiful. Beauty truly is pain and pleasure. This look is hot. Now concerning the winners who won the legendary legend stars, Jinkx and Raja. Personally, I probably would have selected Vivienne and Raja or Yvie and Raja as my two winners of this challenge, but I do think it's pretty clear when you listen back, the judges mostly selected for this challenge based on comedy and who they laughed at the most. After all, they did have Nikki Glaser there to give them feedback, so it was pretty obvious that they wanted this to essentially be, I think, a replacement for a traditional stand-up challenge. Girl, this ain't RuPaul's best friends race. This is RuPaul's make RuPaul's laugh race. And may the funniest queen win. And concerning the lip sync between our two winners, this was 100% Jinkx's lip sync to win. But I did react to this lip sync and the challenge over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. That's my members only website where my patron family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my channel, access to exclusive videos, and access to the Bussy Queen Discord server. And you can join by clicking the link in the description of my video. See you there. But yeah, Jinkx was a lot more dynamic in this lip sync, and Raja was very one note, and honestly, this didn't really feel like a song that she was as comfortable as Jinkx performing in. I will say though, these lip syncs of this season, I feel like they're just happening. They're just happening on the screen and I'm watching and I'm enjoying them, but I don't care who wins them because we've already got two winners. Both of them get their stars. They're winning to win $10,000, which is amazing, but it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. There's no stakes. There's no stakes. I want some stakes with these lip syncs. That is what makes a lip sync, I think, a good lip sync. Turn up the heat a little bit. But that's just me, and I'd love to know what y'all thought about this episode and the season so far. As for my hottest this episode and the challenge, I'm going to give it to Yvie Oddly, and on the runway, Roger. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and they voted for Jinkx in the challenge and Raja on the runway. As always, I want to say thanks to you for watching today's video and give an extra special shout out to Rachel Massey, Ryan Frodsham, Butterfly Kiki, Judge Judy and Executioner, and Julian Brown, who've all just joined my Patreon at the hot and hottest tiers. And Aiden the Individual, Alessandro 420, Alicia, Angel, Cyrus, Dark-Sided Otter, David Webb, Tiki, Felicia, Frankie, Hector, JB, Jeffrey, Joseph, Josh Marchant, Kyle Hermes, Laura, Lissette, Louis Labrador, Ruff, Mark James, Matthew Burns, Matthew Bauer, Maxie Wow, Michelle, Your Bell, Miss F, Neely, Sailor, Steven, Topher, Really, and Will and Tan, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye. I feel like I look like a 70s star of a certain type of content, which is only so ironic, I suppose.